So you're all very lucky today to meet the wonderful Michelle Moss, who is sharing in the Low Carb Summit her personal low carb success story. Thanks for being in the summit, and thanks for being here today, Michelle.
Thanks, Trace. Nice to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Now, we're not going to give away too much about what you're actually going to be talking about in the summit, so we won't go into too much detail there, but just a little bit of an overview of who you are and, I guess why you're here in the low carb space.
Why am I here in the low carb space is because I've had my own personal journey in low carb, where I was doing what everyone did and eating pretty poorly and living a pyramid and a lifestyle, and made some big changes due to my story, I guess, and that's what I'll be talking about in the summit. But and then what it's more for me, it's about what I did then beyond making the changes that I've made in my lifestyles.
So do you want to share a little bit about what that is then?
So of course. So my whole learning around adapting low carb was not only changing my own personal health and my health of my hubby, was realising that health or optimal health is not just about nutrition. It's about lifestyle changes. So I decided that I had a short story to tell, and I love hearing other people's stories. So I created a platform called Holistic Pillars, and Holistic Pillars is a lifestyle, health and wellness blog based around what I've created as being the 4 pillars of health. So your fuel, your movement, your rest, and then your mind. And I just believe that there's probably a lot of intertwined stuff, and I've broadly categorised those 4 pillars. But it's in search of achieving optimal health through all 4 pillars, living them equally. And so Holistic Pillars was created, and it's just a platform where I invite people to come and share their own stories, and also just share mine, but also tidbits and hints and recipes and all sorts of lifestyle-y type things of things that I've used. Holistic Pillars is not telling anybody how to live their life, far from it. It's actually, these are things that have worked well for other people, and try them out. So the whole basis is, sharing information. So that's it.
Sounds amazing. So do you see and I mean, obviously it's come from the journey that you and your husband have been through, but do you see generally we're kind of out of balance with that? Maybe we focus too much on, one side, and neglect all those other things. Is that sort of the purpose around, I guess, showing that we really need to look at all these areas in our lives?
Absolutely. Look, I think we're all aware of a food pyramid that's failing us. And I think that throughout my life, I very much focused on just the diet, and always believed that if I exercised a lot, I would actually just be able to burn off all of the poor food I was eating and the quality of the food. So it's actually also understanding a lot as we've gone through this whole process of, stress levels and raised cortisol levels and all sorts of things around stress management and the mindfulness. And we pay attention to one thing, but we're not conscious of all the 4. And I think my failing over years was focusing on a scale, or I've got to look good in that swimsuit, or I've got to, and it was just, my mind was certainly not right in that regard.
Yeah, but, so common though. And, certainly in my work, I see that a lot as well. And I do think it's just an innocent misunderstanding. We just didn't know. We just thought they, and that's what we were told. They were the solutions to, I guess, get to the point where we thought we needed to be in order to be happy or to be at our healthiest or at our best. But we're looking in the wrong direction, really, in terms of all of that. But you are not alone. I mean, so many of us have done, I've done that as well. And of course, just to share, where you and I met, it was 10, oh gosh, it may have even been a bit longer than 10. Oh gosh, about that time. And I was a personal trainer, and I was telling you the same stuff, not this stuff. I was telling you were one of the people that I did innocently say, yeah, you just must be not, maybe you're eating too much fat, maybe you're not exercising enough. I mean, yeah, we just didn't know. Yeah.
Lot of that at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember you and Paul, your husband, coming in and training you. And, I just look back now and I just wish I had known then what I know now, because I think it's just so unfair that I guess people who are feeling not good within themselves and just constantly chasing this, whatever it is, and they can't seem to get there. I just think it's really unfair when we're not told the truth and we're not told there is another option. And so many people do get sick and don't, get to live to experience what you and I now have experienced. And I love what you've done in terms of holistic pillars. And just to put it in context, I mean, you work full time. So you've set this up because it is truly a passion and truly something that you want to share with others. Yeah.
And I think throughout my journey, and it's been 5, 6, 7 years, that I was really starting to delve into why were we getting so sick. But it was understanding that there was not really somewhere to go to start filtering through all of this misinformation. And so that was probably my why, my big why, is because what I was finding even in the corporate world is people coming to me, noticing the transformation and the change, and people were coming to me asking me, well, what did you do there? Oh, gee, you're looking good, And so I was finding that I was just this little informer anyway, but I didn't realise that people were really listening and noticing change in me. But it was through me doing a lot of investigating, and I wish I'd have had that one person or some people that might have had that information that I actually went and found out myself. So that was probably the reason for why I've felt that there's a need for a holistic pillars type platforms. And I know that there's a lot out there, but this was my little take on it.
Yeah. So where do you see it going? I know you've mentioned to me that it is, at your work and in the corporate world, there's a lot of interest in this, because I think, when we're not feeling good, when we're not running on optimal fuel, where our bodies are constantly fighting us to get back to optimal health, how can it not affect our output? How can it not affect the way we turn up to work every day? So, is that, where do you see this sort of going? Where would you like it to go?
That's a really big question, because I have no idea, because I'm actually it only launched at the end of last year. It's taking off. There's been a lot of interest. I'm just letting it grow organically. I love the fact that people are coming out of nowhere and helping. I'm getting really supported by really, really good, kind, beautiful people. And so that paying it forward for me is enough. So I'm not motivated by financial gain, because like you said, I work full time and I'm really happy in my job and I love my work. So I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of coaching and lifestyle coaching as well. So it may go into that field. I actually am starting. I've got some projects I'm going to have in the next 6 to 12 months of getting some small help groups going and inviting people to get a bit more involved, and then I can get a bit more involved. And I'm inviting people to come and make contact with me. See where it goes. I have no solid plan.
It's the best. Just see how it evolves and see what shows up. And I love it. I think the fact that when we're truly passionate about what we do, it will just go where it's meant to go. And I think, there's such a trust I have in the universe that people will need it, will find it, and will find what they need within it. You mentioned how you have, got so many great people, supportive people, that are supporting you on it. One of the things we've talked about, and I talk about with a number of my clients as well, is they see, you know, when we make changes to our own lifestyle, it can be quite confronting to those around us. You know, sometimes we get supportive partners and families and friends, but sometimes we don't. You know, it can bring up very uncomfortable feelings within them when you're making changes and doing things differently to what they're doing. And I think, you know, it's just something I would love for us to talk about, to just share that it's not, you know, that it may happen. Sometimes people move away. Sometimes they do get a little bit confronted by what we're doing. Is there something, you know, what's been your experience around that? Have you found that things have shifted a little bit around that with the support around you?
I've definitely found that my passion may not be everybody else's passion.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got a great idea, I think, but is it everybody's thing? No. So, yeah, but I've had to actually just draw from within to sort of keep focused on my why. So I'm constantly just revisiting, why am I doing this? What is my motivation? And that keeps me going. But I guess it's just, yeah, sticking to my why. And I actually am quite strong about where I want to be, you know, with this, and sharing. And I get the warmth in my heart from being able to share and make one difference to one person every now and then is lovely.
Yeah, follow the feeling. It's just a very common thing, that's all. And I think, you know, for people listening, you know, I think we do have to know why we're doing what we're doing. It brings me back, you know, to one of my favorite quotes, which is, you know, a bird doesn't sing because it has an answer, it sings because it has a song. And I think when we come from a place of, you know, that feeling, that good feeling, and just know, you know, we're doing it because of that, you know, it doesn't mean that we won't ever come across people that don't agree with us, but that's okay, because they're on singing their own song and they don't have to sing the same song as you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So massive learning for me in that regard as well. So
yeah, beautiful. One last question is, you've done some training around this understanding, because again, you know, for so many people, we come into this, we find our own, you know, solutions to health, and then we want to go and teach others. So can you talk a little bit about what you've gone on to do in terms of this area, this learning?
I think I've probably followed your footsteps and didn't even know I was doing it. So, you know, I started making the changes, following low carb, was getting enormous benefits for myself, and that's all in my my little talk. But I just decided to do some study. So I did an advanced certificate in health and nutrition, but I specialised in weight management, and that was just I'll say just, but it was an online health and wellness course.
Was that following the food pyramid, or was that?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I thought so.
And it took me to do it. But I felt that in order to be able to talk about a subject like nutrition, I had to know the basics. And so I went about just giving myself the qualification, I guess, in that. And it killed me. It did. There was parts of it like, oh, you got to have 6 serves of cut grains a day and all this sort of stuff. And I just don't have any, so I couldn't sort of quite relate. Then I got onto the Nutrition Network, of course, because I'd been following, and I did the Banting program, and I've been following Tim Noakes forever, and started investigating the Nutrition Network courses. So I did the professional training. I can't remember the full title of the course now.
Ketogenic and low carb. Something like that.
Yeah. So I did that one, and I've just finished the advisor training and
great.
coaching. So they're the two out of that part. Obviously a lot of health coaching type courses just online, but they're the main 3. I've been quite interested to do a bit more in the under the Noakes, the Foundation Nutrition Network. That's been key because it's opened up a lot of doors too.
Yeah, it's a fantastic organisation, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I love the stuff I've done through them, and they're so supportive. you know, of their advisors, and, you know, certainly have fully supported me in putting this summit on. It's just been incredible. And you know, being able to talk to the biggest highlight of my career, you know, interviewing Prof Noakes on my podcast. I mean, I don't think I stopped smiling for a week after, you know, chatting to him. He was just, what a humble, generous, amazing human being. Yeah. So lucky to, to have experienced. And what, sorry?
Go on, you go.
No, you go.
He's a fantastic, because I've seen him speak, and a lot of LCHF or low carb experts. But the foundation and the nutrition network, to me has been key in development and my knowledge around the low carb work.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's been great to chat to you, and very much looking forward to your summit presentation. And, you know, one not to miss, everybody, Michelle's story is amazing. And as we were talking about before we started recording, you know, we're just about showing you possibilities. That's all. There is just, you know, if where you are right now is not feeling great, there are possibilities, and there are things that you can try. There's always some solutions. So yeah, and that's what I love about you, Michelle. So thank you so much, and for creating Holistic Pillars. Make sure everyone checks it out. We'll have all that detail below for them to connect. So thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Trace. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.